Charlie, Commissioner General Nana Adodi. Oh, Charlie, is spot there.
They'll come for you.
This week has been, is like I said, so the Education Ministry claimed to have commissioned 80 projects. So what they meant to do at that launch was that at every region where a project was going on, they would have picked live feeds. But of course, due to some technical reasons and other issues, they couldn't get live feeds across all the commissioning projects. I was at that said launch. The minister, I think he's done quite some job in the educational sector. Of course, there have been a lot of setbacks. There's been a lot of other issues that have derailed the focus. But, you know, you get a sense that he took on a very complicated job, a very complex job, because, of course, FirstChat had been implemented already. But you get a sense that he wants to bring change in the education ministry. And, of course, it's not going to be easy. But he's, you know, I watch him talk about the strides he's made in education in the last 4 years. But you can't also not see the positive sides of it, right? So, for example, the Accra STEM schools, you know, it's amazing. You should see it for yourself, right? And this whole trying to inculcate science from the early beginning, right? Of course, like I said, the double track some way.
If I had gone to a STEM school, I probably have loved mathematics.
Yeah,
but
know,
I don't.
So you see, and one thing you credit Educhum for is that you get a sense that he's really thinking about the next generation, right? So he always has this thing. He says that he wants a laborer's son and a judge's son to be in the same classroom, mingle together, grow up together, for the laborer's son to believe that it's also like, you
possible.
know, I don't want to say it's possible, but yeah, you know.
It's possible.
But the point is that you get a sense that he's thinking about the next future. There's this other school being built in Wija, right? You should see the view from the school, because it looks there.
I think he showed a picture of it during his presentation, and it was beautiful.
You get a sense.
Imagine being stressed with class and then taking a look and then...
Exactly. So, you know, we'll give him that, we'll credit him with that. I think they made some strides. But you also can't overlook the fact that there's been serious issues and concerns being raised. Of course, the quality of the tuition in senior high schools, basic education, the neglect, as some CS also call it, of basic education, because people feel the focus is on FirstHS now. And of course, this whole Rice Saga thing is not really going, I'm not too sure what is happening there. So, yeah, I was just saying this in relation to the commissioning, the week of the commissioning. You are the BOG headquarters.
A lovely building. Like, I was stunned, actually. And then I struggled climbing the 41 steps. So I'm telling you that I need to hit the gym again or start running again. Because 41 steps shouldn't make me pant.
So it's a 41 or 42 story?
No. So there are different structures. Okay. Some are 9. There's another that's 20.
But I think the highest is 42, right?
No, it's 22, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
If I'm not mistaken. But lovely edifices.
So you climbed all?
No. They allowed us into the amenities building, and I'm sure it's for security purposes. So the amenities building has a gym, has a nursery, has...
A nursery?
Yes.
For staffers?
For staffers, yes.
Oh, Charlie.
You want to be born by a BOG staff. The place is big.
They have a nursery for staffers?
Yes, a nursery for staffers. They have a medical facility, so like a little clinic, so that if anything at all, they can attend to you there before they rush you to their hospital.
So it's like a smaller clinic?
Yes, a smaller clinic.
Wow.
And then they have a canteen or a restaurant.
Charlie, Commissioner General.
But
so you didn't use the elevator?
The Bank Square. I used the elevator to the top.
You used the elevator to the top?
It's lovely. It's lovely.
Some people on social media were saying some things.
What were they saying?
Say a place, no, it's some way, you know.
It's no,
you know, some people came on social media a day after to say that they still saw laborers going there too.
Oh yes, I mean the groundwork are not completed.
So it's not even like, so it's not even that they are not done and that they are still actively working on the building.
They're working on some of the buildings.
They are working on some of the buildings,
but
the larger part of
it has been completed.
I think it's an
amazing allowed access
into
the amenities building.
I can't wait.
Lovely facility. You know, they use their rainwater, they harvest it. It's green energy. They have solar panels on all the buildings.
Charlie,
so they
don't
rely on the electricity company of Ghana for anything.
The former BOG building, there's some way. And have you gone there before?
I'm sure it was functioning like, you know,
it's
at
been a
that
long time. It was the thing, right?
It was a thing.
Yeah, but like in the last 10 years, it couldn't have been the thing. Because you go to like some of the banks that we have now, as against what the BOG
has, and they are like...
even right across the old sites, the Cow Bank, no, the GCB Bank building, you enter like, and you go to BOG. The central bank.
They needed a facelift. They needed a facelift. Anyway. And they deserve it. So, Bank Square. Lovely, lovely, lovely place. Wow. And there's going to be a museum, so...
Over there as well?
Yes. One of the buildings houses a museum.
They should come and take Breakfast Daily Weekend production on the top so that we can see it and say it all for them.
I'm sure they'll do that.
No, Sam Opoku, you're a main guy. I'm listening. He's with the Bank of Ghana. You know, so Sam, we are waiting for you. Come and take us to the place and let us see it for ourselves so that we can say it.
So that I can enter the rest of the building and say, hit my chest and say, yes, the Bank Square.
No, they did from Charlie. Shout outs to all the guys at BOG. Shout outs to all of you for the amazing work. I heard a staffer said that they now feel like they're working in Wall Street.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Oh, hey, enter the place. It's like you're in some UK. I took a picture and then I think I was the Chikata. And Nilate, Chikata is like, Charlie, this was like some
way in the big buta. Guys.
It's beautiful.
Anyway, big headline story on Daily Graphic Weekend Special. Tema Impakadan Railway Line commissioned 2 new trains start operations. It comes with a photograph of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the Minister of Railways, John Peter Amewu, the Chief Executive Officer of the Tema Metropolitan Assembly, Johan Ama Ashite, also in the photo. Another story here, ECOWAS deploys observers for December 7th election. Back page story, IOC, IBA standoff. Is Ghana boxing at crossroads? And I think the answer is a big yes, in my personal opinion.
I have the Mirror, Ghana's most popular weekend paper. From fire survivor to medical doctor, inspiring journey of Sister Dr. Med Ernestina Yaboa. And she's a sister of the Catholic Church. Other stories you'll find, street eyewear business booms. What is street eyewear? We'll find out soon. Chamber pot going extinct. You know what a chamber pot is?
Crabber. Yeah, I know crabber.
They say it's going extinct.
I know crabber very well.
On the back page of the Mirror Sports, you'll find a profile of Simpson Razak, who is a
Black Stars Player Nations FC defender.
Yes,
he was the brightest spot in the darkest period in Ghana football, like the last 20 years. Yeah, so you credit him that he did quite well, even though we lost out against Niger and Angola.
Right. I'm holding the Spectator now. Front page, hotel in the vicinity of Kumasi Central Mosque. Shop owners oppose move. Efia Iwasha's testimony in Jesus Reigns. NCCE's chairperson, Ms. Kathleen Addy, is saying, don't allow politicians to influence you with money. On the back page, you'll see Ghana football's doomsday with a picture of Otuado with his hand on his forehead. And then another story of Ediana can cause more problems for Kotoko.
And on citynewsroom.com, update on the kidnapping case that broke out late last night. Emirates staff Silver Bar rescued after kidnapping incident. I'll bring viewers excerpts of that later. Also on the citynewsroom.com, Ghana IMF due board to approve 360 million disbursement in December. Also, your former MPP national chairman, Freddie Blair, has been speaking. He says the MPP is fortunate to have Dr. Baumia at this critical time. Majority request parliamentary recall. Ojia Hoho Yao Jebi, the second re-elected National House of Chiefs president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has been speaking on Ghana's railway sector, and he makes the claim that he's revived the railway sector. And like we brought to you early on when we started the show, armed robbers vanish after they were trapped inside Forex Bureau at Abekala Pass, and vanish in quotes. And finally here, I didn't demolish GBC Star Bungalow. Sylvester Tete with that one, who is also Deputy Information Minister. Any other stories?
No, but I think we can delve into some of the stories. Let's start with the hard and then move to the soft.
Okay, so, let me just bring you the Tema and Pakadan Railway Commission project. Like I said, it's the biggest story, or one of the biggest stories this week. So, the suspense and thrill that characterized the much anticipated revival of the country's rail transport were finally confined to history yesterday when President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo commissioned the 97.7 kilometer Tema Mpakadan Standard Gauge Railway line and 2 modern diesel multiple unit DMU trains at Tema. The flamboyant ceremony fully compensated for the agony of the April 18 test run mishap, which temporarily threw the initial plans out of gear. On that fateful day, one of the newly acquired magnificent trains unexpectedly ran into a track which was strangely parked across the railway track during an inaugural test run prior to the start of its scheduled operations. Following investigations into the matter, the driver of the truck was found guilty of causing damage to state property and was accordingly sentenced to 6 months imprisonment. However, the new train eventually embarked on its dream journey yesterday, with President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo being one of the first passengers to travel on the railway line. Let me just bring you excerpt of the story that talks about the strategy behind this. The key strategy goes on to say, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Railway Development Authority also said one of the key strategies of the Tema Mpakadan project was to build an intermodal transport system to link Tema Port to the Mpakadan Port. That, he said, would ensure that imported goods in containers would be loaded onto the trains and transferred from the trains onto barges at the Mpakadan Port to be ferried to the ports in northern part of Ghana and subsequently transported on train by road to neighboring countries of Burkina Faso and Niger. Mr. Osu said traditionally railway lines were built in anticipation of a demographic and economic growth, and therefore invited business communities to take advantage of the incredible and viable projects by citing businesses along the route. So the story goes on and on and on. Story by Benjamin Honam Glover, who is in Tema. I've seen people make arguments that we don't need, for example, as a country, we don't necessarily need a national airliner we don't need something like that anymore, right? We should leave that to private sector to manage. But what government should focus more on and extensively on is a well-functioning, interconnected railway system that links all 16 regions, if possible, and also intercity kind of railway, right? Because that has a lot more added advantage in terms of spurring on economic growth and creating or opening up other cities, right? So the point is that if you live in Tema and you have to work in Accra or Kaswa, it's easier using the train, right, than having to go on the motorway, endure traffic. And in the long run, what also happens is that it frees up a lot of the vehicles we see on our roads, right? And it makes mobility altogether easier. So, it's a conversation that should be had. And for me, I'm glad the president said he's revived it. I hope that is sustained, right? After December 7, there will be a next government, irrespective of who wins. Even if the incumbent party still wins, their flag bearer might just have to set up a new government altogether. Different people will be put in different cabinet positions and all of that. But like we see all the time, government is a continuum, right? So we shouldn't let this just derail.
Right.
Oh, Charlie, you need to catch it. We shouldn't let the train and the project derail from its intended purpose. Right. I feel like we need to sustain this. It's great. Kudos to government, right? But beyond it, we should have a proper plan to sustain it first and to then see how to expand it.
Right. I totally agree with you. And speaking of you know, inaugurations. You remember the flower pot was interchange was also inaugurated, and then a day after.
Yeah, some people.
Yes,
Sadatu. Oh, Charlie, Sahadatu. What's the name? Is this
Sahadatu? Sahadatu. Yes.
Charlie, you know, Sahadatu. We feel you, but Charlie.
And there's a piece in the Mirror, an editorial. Hawkers deserve a place in Ghana City. So they're asking that. Although there have been a lot of rants on social media over how they're maybe defacing it, people should give them the chance to also do their selling or their hawking over there. But let's move away from that and talk about street eyewear business booming in at the Kwame Nkrumah interchange. You know those guys who have different spectacles and then they carry it or they're stationed at one place. Have you ever patronized their eyewear?
I don't lie. I don't come and sit and do holier than that. I've bought some before, but I bought it because I was going for, I think, a funeral or so, and I needed dark shades, and I didn't carry mine on at that time. So I got one to buy on the road, which was quite okay. But the point is that if you buy it for eyesight,
that's a problem.
Yeah, I'll judge you seriously. And it's not only them.
Problem.
There are other people who are selling medicated glasses on the roadside.
On the roadside.
No, if you go there,
they'll even give you a prescription this one is 0.4 and the left eye is -7.
See, if you buy all of those things for like on health grounds or for eyesight correction purposes, I judge you seriously, unapologetically. I'm not even joking, So maybe you should just bring us the story.
Well, a bit of the story says the rising demand for fashionable eyewear is proving to be a lucrative venture for some traders. Vendors of sunglasses and reading glasses say they earn between 300 cedis and 900 cedis daily, depending on their location and demand. So you can typically find them operating at Kwame Nkrumah Interchange, Kaneshi, and Accra Central Market, often exposed to the hot sun for hours. They ply their trade at traffic intersections, bus terminals, and around nearby markets. Now, let me read a bit of their challenges. So while the eyewear trade can be lucrative, it comes with challenges. Some of the traders said they faced intense competition, harassment from municipal authorities, and harsh weather conditions. One of them, Yusuf, recounted being fined by the AMA for trading at unauthorized spaces, while Suleiman expressed frustration over customers doubting the quality of their products. So you know they are sitting here now.
No, you be sometimes
doubting the quality of their products.
Sometimes they sell or they have brands that are not necessarily original, right? So they have like specific ranges of brands of like a certain
high quality.
Yeah,
for New York streets, high streets brand. They are selling it, but people buy it.
People go and buy Ray-Ban. How much you can't sell a Ray-Ban here for us like 12 CDs and Charlie always. So you have every right to doubt it.
Yeah.
And if you're not selling at an appropriate
area,
you can't really fault city authorities for coming after you.
Let me bring you the chamber pot story, and then you can go into what our website is saying. So a bit of it says that chamber pots, locally known in the Tree language as kraba, are gradually going extinct from major markets across the country. Vendors of the product say local manufacturers of chamber pots have attributed the prevailing situation to the non-availability of the pots to the lack of raw material for mass production. Now, if you don't know what a chamber pot is, it is traditionally a small round bowl with a handle, which is usually used for storing human waste at night and also doubles as a toilet for children. When the Mirror visited some of the markets, there was no sight of the chamber pots, which used to be very common in sizes and colors on the markets. A chamber pot dealer in front of the GCB Bank at Accra Central Market, Nache, told the Mirror she had sold plastics for 22 years. She said a lot of people do ask for the old model chamber pot, but they tell them it is out of the system. Local manufacturers say they do not have the raw materials, but they bring us the new 6-liter buckets because that is what is being used as an alternative. Chamber pot in various homes, if they do not have the raw material, then what do they use for the 6-liter buckets, she asked. So she's asking that question because, so the bigger ones now is what is being used for chamber pots. Were you ever put on one? Because we're all potty trained.
Yeah, everybody was
put on one. We're all potty trained.
it's interesting.
They'll leave you on it. Do your business. Learn how to use it. Oh my word. Our mothers. But it's becoming extinct and it's being replaced by a bigger one.
Is
it that you don't know what to say or what? Because you're never left.
I don't remember the last time I had to like
talk about
interface or like talk about it or anything. I don't really know what's happening in the space.
But there are people who, even at our age, would prefer to use that rather than get up
at night
to go and use the bathroom because it will mess up their sleep.
It's a red flag. Yeah, just lazy. Well, also depends on where you stay, right? No, to be fair, it also
if
depends
you don't have,
if you don't have it like very conveniently. No, because you know people even in like urban senses, urban spaces, live in areas where their rest rooms, their washrooms, their bathhouses are like quite a distance from where their rooms are. So maybe, I don't know. Like I said, it's been a while I interface with one to know what's happening with it. But anyway,
just because you're bougie.
Clearly not. Emirates staff Sylvia Ban rescued after kidnapping incident. You know, last night we got a lot of people talking. But the Ghana Police Service has successfully rescued Sylvia Patience Ban, the airport services manager of Emirates Airlines in Accra, following her alleged kidnapping. She has since been reunited with her family. Authorities have assured the public that an active search is ongoing to apprehend the suspects behind the crime, emphasizing their commitment to justice. Patience Ban was reported to have been allegedly taken from the entrance of her residence in Accra on Thursday, 21st November 2024. The police expressed gratitude to individuals who provided valuable information during the rescue operation and to the public for their cooperation and support. So kudos to the Ghana Police Service for yet again, you know, bringing warmth and happiness to a family. Except that the Adabraka killers, the shooters in Adabraka, and now Abekala Pass police, we beg you. We beg you. The Abekala Pass one, it's funny because the Abekala Pass police station, they don't even call it a police post, even though it's literally like a container, right? It's less than a minute's drive from where the incident took place.
Right.
So maybe you would want to say that's what led to the police response time being swift. But Charlie, how can you tell me they disappeared? The police, to be fair, didn't say that. Is there a
window that probably they went through in the building or another door at the back?
They didn't allow us enter the
so you can't say for
sure.
But
I spoke to eyewitnesses, multiple eyewitnesses, and one of them, some of them, they saw like really high-end stuff. Some of them they saw TVs, 20,000, 30,000. Right. So they do a lot of business with the Forest Bureau. So a lot of them, in one way or the other, have interface or transacted business with the Forest Bureau. And, they tell me that when you enter, the window desk, it be AC, some way you can't, and even if you escape through the window, there's no way people around won't see. Right? So, Charlie, Chaka, some way, it said it disappeared. It disappeared to where?
Disappeared to where? And reappeared where?
Charlie,
that would be an interesting
do you believe
to come tell
cosmic us. Powers are a thing?
No.
You don't believe?
No.
You don't believe that there's juju, somebody can juju you and things?
No.
Do you believe it for girls and for boys?
No.
Actually, I don't. You've just not seen some things before, that's why. You've not fallen for some boy and you
don't understand why
you were falling for the boy.
No.
Anyway, I've not seen some things. Or maybe happy I didn't know.
Well,
can you look back and see that? But this boy, what was on this boy that it hasn't happened to you before?
No.
Hey, Charlie, I read that. If it hasn't happened to you, then I completely respect that.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah.